don't know.
All right, we're live, everybody. Welcome to
Yay.
5D All Day. I'm Danielle Kane. I'm the host of this awesome podcast on spirit calling, and I'm here today with some lovely people that I'm going to introduce in just a minute. But I'm so glad that we could be here to have a conversation wherever it flows. That's what we like to do here, where the collective is feeling, and honored to have experts here today on sharing their stories. We have a lot of wonderful people that bring a lot of wisdom to what we're dealing with in these interesting times. So I'm excited for everybody to share their piece today. But let's start off and we'll go around and do a little introduction. Jason, do you have time to introduce yourself, or would it be best if you just kind of listen today? He might not be available.
Just trying to get myself unmuted there. Just
Yeah.
trying to cut out the background noise. But no, yeah, I've got time.
Okay, cool.
So
And we can't see your face when you're on YouTube, but it's okay. Your voice is still heard. So I just wanted to let
oh,
you
gotcha.
know.
Okay, perfect.
So
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
this is the part where I go ahead.
Yeah, please introduce how you came about spirit calling and anything that you'd like to share today.
Yeah, so my name's Jason, and I came across Spirit Calling in off of a TikTok that I saw from Pamela. And I had been already going down somewhat of a spiritual journey before I found Pamela. And that's how I kind of like in a nutshell came across that. And I don't remember what it was, but it just really resonated with me. The way that she had sent this message through was it just really resonated. And I know for myself, like in on the spiritual side, I've had to set a lot of things aside from like so-called spiritual leaders that just don't resonate. And so I've had to find the things that resonate. And that's kind of how I've taken my journey, because even now I will hear things that to me won't sound right. Maybe in 5 years, maybe in 2 years they will. I don't know. But I just have taken the things that resonate with me and run with it. But long term, I had a pretty life-changing experience back in 2011, and it really kind of changed the whole trajectory of my life. And really in 2020, kind of around the COVID era, I really started really reaching because I knew that there was so much more. I feel like I was very much sleepwalking and very traditionated in certain ways of religion and stuff of that nature, where I just kind of just took whatever was given to me as that's how it is, and kind of just sleptwalk. But in 2020, it really hit hard with everything that was happening in the world, and kind of put me on this path.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I love your story too. I mean, it really, there's something about all that you have been through that I don't know, I find it really fascinating how you've take that leap of faith, to
Right.
step away from something that you knew nothing else. So I'm so grateful for you to being here and drawing other people that have had similar experiences to you.
To piggyback off of that, I'm grateful to be here. I love this community. Honestly, this is one of my most favorite events. I mean, there's a lot of great events, but I love these events. I feel like I always leave these podcasts in such a positive, just uplifted, just I don't know. I'm kind of just vibing high, I guess you could say, when
Yes,
when these calls when we're done with them. I just feel great. Puts me
that's
into a
good.
great weekend.
Great. That's exactly what we want. It's like having that phone call with like your best friend when you get off, you're like, oh, I just needed that?
Yep, yep.
Oh, great. I'm glad you feel that way. Awesome. Awesome. Tina Marie, go ahead, give us a little introduction.
Um, well, let's see. I came to Spirit Calling because I knew Dina. Dina and I had a friend a mutual friend, and she introduced me to Dina, and then Dina introduced me to Pamela. She said that, yeah, she just said she wanted Pamela to meet me.
Yeah.
And that's how I came to Spirit Calling. My journey has been like yours, Jason. It's been quite the journey. I grew up Catholic, and it was when I got to university, when I got to college, I moved out of my house, or moved out from my family, and I was a little bit of a late um exiter, if you will, from the family, because I had been living overseas with my family for all of my life. We just moved every couple of years to a different country. And so when we came back to the US, I was a little bit older than my peers. And I ended up going to university, and I just remember waking up one morning, and I'm like, because I was thinking it was Sunday, and I was in the dorm, and I was getting ready to go to the Newman Centers. That's what they call the Catholic groups at the university, or they did, 1,000 years ago. And and I remember waking up and like just stopping myself and asking, what the heck am I doing? Why am I doing this? This is out of sheer habit, like absolute habit. I no longer connected with it. I never felt like I did, because I don't know if you remember, but way back then, they used to have classes called CCD classes.
They still have them.
They still do. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, in the CCD classes, I would ask questions. I'd be like, why do,
Yeah.
and I was told to hush. I was told to, like just never mind, just and so I remember asking questions back then. And so when I got to this college level, I said, forget it. And also I came across the book. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, of The Chalice and the Blade. Have you ever heard of that book?
I feel like I have, but I don't know much
It's,
about it.
it'll be an older book by now, but The Chalice and the Blade was like just totally knocked my socks off, because it was so dramatically different than how I'd been taught in terms of the history of the church and everything else. So that was like, that would, to me, was a major confirmation. And then from there, my journey just kept unfolding. It just, things started happening. I had a dream where my New Earth 5D aspect came to visit me, and from there I started keeping journals, and then I had an awakening, a really rough awakening, just one of those really rough rides. And then I just kept unfolding. Everything started happening. My clairs, my everything started coming through, just big time. And but you know what? I think I've mentioned this before, and I'm a very slow learner. So everything would take me like decades at a time to get to the next point in my journey.
That's
But
great.
anyway, I'm here. We're all here, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you here. And I appreciate you sharing that, because it's like you said, we all have some similar experiences, especially if it
Yeah.
comes to religion. And I'm always fascinated by that, because I've been on the other side. My parents were non-denominational. They broke away from religion. So I was kind of like left with nothing. I didn't really know what to do. I always wanted to try to fit in. So it's nice to kind of see how everyone coped with like their childhood, and how they experienced gifts early on. And I'm so grateful that you are kept at it all these years, because you could have easily just said, I'm just going to put this aside. And you were just driven by your guidance to continue. So looking
Yeah.
forward to hearing more about that too. And please, at the end, don't forget to share what's coming up on Spirit Calling.
Okay.
And Pamela says hello to everybody, that they just landed
Oh,
to
yay.
Dallas. They couldn't be Her and Dina couldn't be here today because they're attending an event this weekend, but they're joining us remotely. So I just wanted to let you guys know.
Yay.
Okay, and I'm glad that Nicole and Michael has joined us. We're just going around. We're going to touch base with Maddie with a little introduction, and then we'll go to Nicole and Michael, and then we'll kind of get started in our conversation. Sound good? Great. All right, Maddie, go ahead and tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Like Jason, I also kind of consider my spiritual awakening, or whatever you want to call it, to have happened about 2011. And it's strange because like when I look back, it was like, I guess life just seemed normal, kind of. Like when I look back at it, it seemed like I lived a normal life like up until 2011. Um And then after like a near death experience, it just made me start really questioning things. And I'm glad that I would always like pray very openly. Like I wasn't exactly sure like who or what or whatever I was praying to. And I would ask questions and I would express my confusion. And I feel like that just eventually, before that, I wasn't like really big into questioning or prayer or anything. And so it just led me down kind of like a rabbit hole of eventually I started seeing things, hearing things, feeling things, sensing things, just experiencing a lot of different things, and just continuing into like the mysteries and the unknown, and just going down that road. um and then so I was at a couple just a year or so ago, I was at a shamanic drumming journeying circle, and Pamela came, and that's where we met. Um, and then a few months later, we just happened to run into each other again, just randomly in a parking lot, and that's what led me to spirit calling, and happily ever after, right?
Yeah. And I appreciate you because you and Michael, like honestly, you guys are so great at posting content. Like that's what we want. We want engagement. And I want to thank you for that because you do an excellent job. And even Tina Marie said she was listening to some music that I think you posted. And it's just nice to be able to like have these connections that you just can't have anywhere else. I know there's other social platforms, but it's just everyone kind of knows what we're getting into when they enter a space like this. It's like judge free and judgment free, and we're all kind of like learning more from each other. So you've brought so much to Spirit Calling, and I want to thank you for that. Yay, happy ever after. All right, Nicole, my dear, you made it. You got into the chat.
I did. Sorry for the delay. I've had
Okay.
some technical issues. Seems to be a theme for me lately. But yes, I'm happy to be here. It's been a while, I think, since I've met with everybody on a 5D. So I'm excited to be here and just talk about high vibe. So, kind of going off what Madeline was saying with kind of growing up was sparking some new ideas that I hadn't actually really thought of in a way, I guess. And so for me, I grew up being Mormon in religion. So I had the religion aspect for me. However, I've said many times it never resonated with me. I always felt like I was going through the motions of just this is what we do. We go to church, we say our prayers, we do, it's just kind of like things that we do. And I never really felt a connection or like a purpose, I guess, in that religion for me. And so I always knew I was unique with the things I was into and interested in with numbers and geometry and patterns. Like I was just always daydreaming essentially in church because I was just like seeing another world essentially, but I didn't know what it was. And so then later on, throughout my life, I would just find little tidbits of information. One big thing being on YouTube, this little character called Spirit Science. I don't know if anyone's heard of that before, but Spirit Science really, really was awakening tool for me when I was getting into my later teens. It just has an episode on pretty much every topic you could possibly think of. So I really started to go down the rabbit hole of sacred geometry and understanding thoughts and intentions and chakras, all these things that was the first time I had heard of. That's what resonated with me. I was like, okay, this is something I can almost measure and practice and do experiments with. That is something that I can see for myself that has this magical effect. So for me, that was like, this is my religion in a way. I don't even know what we call it, just energy, life, connection. So that for me has been like my purpose, I feel like, is to learn as much as I can and just absorb as much information so I can share with everybody because I feel like we all go through different experiences that are very similar that we can share with analogies of geometry or patterns or numbers or energy or something like that. So that's like a common religion, let's say, for everybody that I feel like is a good way to talk and get through to people that are very stuck in ways that can't quite see out of this picture frame, because we need to like zoom way out. I always say that you really have to like look outside of what's really going on, which is what I taught myself, I guess, along the way. So yeah, that's kind of my thing. And now I use it to make sound healings and custom frequencies, because I'm obsessed with frequencies now and understand different hertz frequencies customized to different organ systems or different things that need to be in a harmonized state. So I'm just really excited to share all my knowledge and information, share meditations, everything we can bring the energy and vibrations up.
The doctor of frequency right here. I love it. You have a gift. You have a language. It's your language, and you're
Yeah.
connected to all the geometry. I know you are. It's like whenever we talk about it, you have a deep emotion attachment to it, and I know how much
Yes.
it's important to you, and the work that you've done has just been so amazing to see your growth
Yeah.
here, just in general. So I'm glad that you can share that to the world and continue. So thank you.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Michael. Welcome, Dina. We'll get to you in just a minute. I know you're at the airport, so hopefully, and you look frozen at the moment. Oh, there she is. But we're going to introduce Michael real quick and then pop to you.
Quick. Okay. You guys were talking about religion. I guess I'm Catholic when I was a kid.
Seems like that's
Prayed
where we're
every
going.
prayed every night religiously, you know. I never was an altar boy. Um, I rejected organized religion as a teenager. Um, I did see, I believe I saw spirits and stuff as a kid, as a 4-year-old, and I saw spirits in first year university. But I had an experience that sort of like pushed that feeling down. And then in 2011, I had a sort of I had a negative experience at work, people targeting me, sort of like they fired me, then had a sort of I would describe a shattering of the soul. So since then, I've been rebuilding my soul since then. And at the time, I was saying I was renovating I saw my body as a house, and it was just blown away with a grenade going in. It blew out all the windows, blew out everything. So I'm just reconstructing my soul. So I was in a lot of pain, emotional pain, but I was just visualizing, reconstructing my soul and going through all the steps through the years, like self-compassion and journaling and everything else like that. And then in 2020, I sort of quit my job, um, started quitting bad habits, stuff that did not resonate with me, started watching Gaia. In the meantime, I was getting a lot of chronic illnesses, so I had to realize that um, that that stored trauma was causing a lot of things. And I said, "What the f's going on?" Like, my body's keeping the score, and I kept drilling down as a manifester. So as a, whatever. So I kept drilling down, trying to analyze everything, and anything I did, if I went a certain way emotionally, I trigger another chronic illness. And I go, frig, or it wasn't frig. So
Right.
so then like I had my gallbladder taken out in 2021, and then 2022 my wife got ovarian cancer, 2023 or 2022. And then so at the time I was getting into like a lot of spiritual stuff, like uh, uh, people seeing spirits and stuff like that, NDEs and stuff like that. Because my wife had chronic ill, well, she had stage 4 by 2022, and then she passed away in 2023. And then like the whole time before she died, the year she died, and the year after she died, which meant last year, I was seeing 333 all the time, like constantly. It was like freaking annoying. And then when my wife died, it was like he sent like white feathers and send birds in three, and lots of messages. And then last year, I dreamt about, I went to see a medium, I talked to my wife through the medium. I had the month before, I dreamt about cobalt blue, found out my archangel is is Mike Archangel Michael. His color is blue, cobalt blue. Then I started meditating last year, and I was meditating a lighthouse all the time, seeking other people. So the goal was to find another group. So I kept meditating that all the time, all the time, all the time. And finally, I joined Spirit Calling in August of 2023, right? And then Pam had a week before I came in, she had a dream or a vision of someone coming from Prince Edward Island. She never knew where Prince Edward Island was. That's where I live right now. So I've been here since then. And lately, the weird things is that I'm on a ley line. Things are syncing up with the Coffrey uh, pyramid. I had a QHHT session last year. It links me to the Knights Templar, um, connections to Egypt. It's really weird stuff happening. The other day I dreamt about I saw 444 four times in the 24 hours, and um, I woke up at 4:44 just to find out that my brother-in-law's sister died, and I get the message at 4:45 because I turned on my phone at 4:44, and so I was like, it was really weird. So,
You definitely have
so
some numbers. I saw a video
yeah,
the other day. I was gonna send it to you, and I this was not available, but it was like the song, someone that I used to know was like the background song, and it was totally made
yeah,
up. But she kept seeing 1111, and everything that she did, she looked up, there's
yeah,
1111, walking to be
yeah.
like 11th Street, and I'm like, I gotta send this to Michael because
I
and
know.
Nicole, because 1111 is Nicole's number, or
And Nicole,
111, I can't remember.
today I found out that 165 is the frequency of the pineal gland. That's what I found out
Oh,
today.
there you
165.
go. All right, and
Yeah.
Pamela's, you hear that? Pamela, she probably knows. I know
And that
Nicole's gonna
equals
jump in and
three,
say
I have
something.
to say.
Three does?
What's that?
If you add them up, it equals three. So your three is
Ah.
Oh,
back.
And see, Michael, I feel
165.
like that has a lot of importance to you. Three is your
Yeah.
number, isn't it?
Well,
Are
we're
you a
both
number?
born on the same day. Remember that. Eh?
Are you
We're
three? Are
both
you a number three? Do you know your numerology or anything?
I
me?
am.
Yeah, check that out.
Right.
Well, if you're Nicole's
Yeah.
birthday, oh, well, except the year's
July
different.
29th.
Yeah.
We're both Queen of Hearts.
We
Yeah,
have so much of this geometry life blueprint
Yeah.
that is guiding us.
but I do. Now I'm gonna have that song in the back of my head whenever I see it. Somebody used to know. You know? All right, where are we going with this number today? All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. I love
Well,
those stories. Those
my life
stories.
path is number three.
See, there it is.
There
Um,
you go.
I'm a number eight. We can get into that later too, but I always get the chills when someone has those like connections the way that you did, like through like not knowing each other, Pamela having no clue this place exists, and then here you come through. It's like an intuition that is already meant to happen, and it does. And it's like validation of like how
Yeah.
connected we really are. So I'm just so glad that you shared that story.
Thank you.
Dina was next, and Austin's here too. I don't know if you can jump on in a minute, but I don't know if Dina can say hi. She's in an airport. There she is.
Muted.
Yep, you're muted. Oh, there's Pamela too. Hi, but you're muted. We can't hear you. And they're frozen.
I can't jump on. I'm driving, so I'm just
Okay.
listening in today.
You're just listening today. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, though. Appreciate you.
Hi guys, we just wanted to say hi.
Yay!
Hi.
I hope you have
I'm
a
here.
lovely weekend.
Good
Thank
seeing you
We
guys.
will. Good to see
Awesome.
you guys.
Have a great time.
Okay.
Awesome. 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 All right. I'm so glad for all the introductions. And
Okay.
so we
I
were
just want-
going. Oh, did you want to say something? Nope, they've jumped off. Okay, cool.
And scene.
What'd you say?
And scene.
And scene. Goodbye. Well, I really liked, I don't know, I mean, as far as the topics of where we go today, but everybody's story, you know, how we find one another. I find that in my life right now, I'm really serving this purpose of connection. Like I'm meant to just sit back and just attract some energy. Tina and Marie and I had a conversation about grounding. I'm being very grounded and very much in my body right now. And I'm kind of taking more of a back seat and allowing, what's around me to kind of just be. And things are beautifully coming together for me while I'm just trying to stay in as much balance as possible with, I guess, all the frequencies around us. But let's go around a little bit about where everybody is right now. Tina Marie, tell us a little bit about, we'll go back to you. What are you doing in your world right now? What's happening?
Well, I just tried to record a recent dream that I had because I feel like it's so pertinent to what's going on right now. And it was a dream where there was a group of us and we were standing up and we were looking about 5 feet ahead of us and above ourselves at our 5D aspects, our New Earth 5D aspects. And we knew that it was us. Somehow by the body shape, but inside the body was a whole bunch of light, just pure light. And what I saw was this transmission, and there was this transmission to our physical bodies of this light, of this 5D light. And I woke up, took a break, came back, and then I went right back into it. So it made me feel like it was a lot more than just a dream. It was actually an experience. And for me, I mean, that shows up that first of all, it tells me, I know we're so focused on all of the energies that are coming in and pouring in from the cosmos. And I'm a channel of the cosmos, so I completely understand that. And yet, I feel like the real thing is to really connect to our own inner source self, our own inner beingness. I call it source self, and because in there, that when we're in that space, it helps us to adjust to all the frequencies that we are experiencing. And really all of this anyway is an inside job. So we're really starting from the inside, and we tend to be extremely focused externally. And if it bothers the heck out of you or you just kind of laugh it off, it doesn't matter. But somehow there's all this other focus on the outside versus the inside. And I really sense that as we balance that more, coming from the inside out, I feel like we really step into our true power. We're not reacting. We're not creating in a way that we're accustomed to creating. We're really coming from the heart, and we're just going outward and unleashing ourselves into that, into our reality, so that it becomes physicalized in our reality experience. But I don't know if it's a radical view, and I don't know how many people resonate with it, and I really don't care.
Yeah,
but
go for it. Great place to say it then.
but anyway, I don't know where I was going to go with that. I think I was going to go with that at some point. But the truth is I really feel like we're the ones who we're channeling. We're the ones who are helping us. That dream or that experience showed me that we're the ones that are transmitting the frequencies to ourselves, and that 5D New Earth already exists. It's already here. We're just waking up to that, or we're just remembering that. And the work of, for example, frequencies and tuning our bodies, that is so powerful, because that really helps us adjust to these higher frequency bandwidths that we're exposed to. And I don't know about you, but it does show up in our physical bodies in like a really challenging way. I mean, sometimes you just feel like you have to lay down like Maddie. I love that. And I take a nap. Or sometimes you have to, sometimes you feel like there's just so much going on, like all over physically in your body. And then sometimes your senses come online or expand, and your ability to channel, your ability to to your intuition, your psychic abilities, those come online. And something that's really disorienting, I think, for people. So I feel like we're dealing with a lot. And if we really stay focused on the within part, that I feel like that's what's helping me most in just anchoring in all that we're experiencing. And like I don't want to implode. I don't want to explode. Like I just want to be here, do my thing, and help anybody who feels called to it. That's kind of where I am.
I love that. I love what you said about the frequencies. I think that I felt like that for a while. Like, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm so ready to like move into this space, but I know that there's a patience about it. So rather than me feeling like I have to rush everything else, it was really about me. Like, okay, maybe I need to get going. And so I had to match the frequency that I was feeling intuitively physically, because it took like yesterday we were meeting up yesterday and we were talking about how the body sometimes just takes a little bit longer, it's a little bit slower to catch up. And man, I really had to catch up because then I started feeling even younger. It's almost like I felt like I was reversing a little bit of the aging process. I know I'm still the same age and all, but I started feeling younger. I mean, I'm playing a lot of pickleball and people are saying I look 18 out there and I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take 18 years old. And I'm 43. All right, that was the youngest I got. But I mean, some people thought I was in my 20s, and I'm like, there's something about moving and keeping up with this frequency that I'm meant to be. This is elevating me to match what you said, what's going around. And I'm not getting caught up in other things that don't matter. It's like about the frequency of playing. Things that I gypped myself out of in my younger years was play. I have to include that, something that brings me joy, that's going to keep that frequency going. So when I'm presented with whatever it is at work or with my children, that I'm continuing passing on this frequency, like you said, because it has been so chaotic at times. But I find that if we're meeting what the self needs, that we're able to have a little bit of a balance with the shifts that are going on. What do you think?
You asking me or someone else?
Whoever wants to respond. Nicole looks like she wants to say something.
I do have something to say. I was just kind of thinking while you both were talking that we do need to listen to our bodies, and if we need to lay down and rest, if we need to do our creative abilities, we need to do that. I've noticed personally when I get into those, okay, I need to rest phase and just absorb and recharge, that it's very easy to get stuck in those ruts essentially. And you can kind of stay there for a while. You have like these thoughts of, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. But you can really get stuck in those kind of ways. And for me, a huge thing to help get out of that is connection and hearing other people's stories. So, like hearing Danielle talk about even playing pickleball, that's exciting to me. So, just hearing that is like, okay, I want to get up and play. But if you don't have that connection or you're not connecting with other people's stories or hearing something to get you out of your current routine, essentially, then it can be really hard and more difficult to get out of that because it is always a rise and fall. But sometimes we're in this fall longer than we're rising. But it doesn't mean that you can't get out of it. There's things you can do and listen to and connect and kind of spark your purpose again, essentially. That's kind of where I've been coming out of. And that's kind of why I'm sharing this, because it's been a while, maybe a month or so, that I was pretty energy absorbing, let's say, but it felt too long. And I knew that. And I knew I needed to get out of it, but I couldn't quite get the motivation or the energy because I was so used to just doing my normal, not doing anything routine. And so to be able to kind of push myself to, okay, I'm going to listen to a podcast. I'm going to do something to feed my soul. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to do a meditation. I'm going to jump on Spirit Calling and read some motivating things, just something like that. It can just take one thing that can really pull me up. And then I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to record a podcast. I'm ready to create a new song, whatever it is. But I just felt other people could resonate with that as well.
Yeah. I feel like you're always doing something though. Like even though when you dip out and you say that, I see what you do sometimes. I'm like, man, you go in like these binges of like high
That's
energy.
what it is.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
down
and
and
maybe that's
it's
where
like,
you do your best work, though. So that's everybody's,
yeah.
um, you know, currency pathway or whatever is different. I mean, are you a reflector? I forget what you are. I mean, I know people might not follow human design, but I am a generator, 100% generator for
Yeah,
sure.
projector, I think I
You're a
am.
projector.
Yeah.
What is everybody else? I'm just curious. Does anybody know what their human design is and wants to share it?
I'm a manifester.
You're a manifester? Tina?
Yeah,
We're competing
5-1.
just on us.
I haven't gone through the whole process of reading a report or something like that, but I think I did the quick, the little quick thing, and I think it was a generator.
Generator.
But that doesn't, because I haven't read it in depth, I don't know
Don't
the
quite know.
details of that.
What about you,
I
Maddie? Oh,
Same here.
Jason.
I think I'm a manifester, but I'm pretty sure, but it's like I looked up the thing and then like it said like quantum at the top and I was like, what does that mean? And but I was like, that's not. And but then I was like reading all the words and then so I but like there wasn't like a set thing that said just manifester or whatever, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
sometimes they add like,
Yeah. I thought I
what are
saw
you,
both for
Michael?
mine.
What type of manifester are you? Michael knows. He's been doing this a long time.
Mm,
I dove deep into it last year. I went on the course and everything. I'm a 5-1 manifester, heretic investigator.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I get my I decide things through my intuition. The irony is that I've been suppressing my intuition most of my life. So last year I stopped doing that and started meditating. So that was key to find that out, to
Yeah,
find out what my body's designed for, and
Yeah,
then using that to my advantage to enhance my abilities. So
for sure.
absolutely.
That was really cool for me to learn too, because I always felt like going through like my childhood, my teen years, and like some difficult times, I would always have like a conversation with myself and play out different scenarios, and like whatever felt the best, that's what I would go with. And I always like looking back thought that that might have been kind of, I don't know, sporadic, erratic, I don't know the word for that. But then learning that that was actually my design, that talking in my heart head connection and having that just peace when I find that answer essentially. And I'm like, I've actually been doing that, but I didn't know that I was doing that. And so to be able to use it now as a tool is like a whole nother level.
Absolutely. I wanted to say something too about mine. And I know I want Jason, I think I cut you off there. Do you want to say something real quick about what your human design
I,
is, if you know?
I was just gonna say I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
I'm gonna have to look into it now.
yeah, I think it's a really great tool if you have time. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can explore. And I think there are some human design specialists in the group too that have had,
Yeah, there's a session I think in April by Hannah. So I think
yeah.
that's the name. She's doing the session in April. So
Okay.
those who are interested should jump in. I'm gonna jump in, but
Yeah.
I
Thank you
did
for
mine. I
sharing.
just don't remember what it was.
You don't remember what it was?
Yeah, I did it, and it was just like, look, let me just pay attention to one thing, like Vedic astrology. Once
Yeah.
I get that, then I'll jump to something new.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's another thing too,
Pretty
because I know
complex.
I knew nothing about my rising sign, and I'm a right. So generator, real quick, no idea that my gut was like my intuition, which is exactly everything. Like I will tell you, people have told me you're too emotional, and of course, my emotions were what was telling me how to guide me. But then I would shut it down, and I shut that down like you did, Michael, for many years. My intuition, I thought that was something that was not allowed, because I was so emotional, and I didn't know how to handle my emotions a lot of times because I bottled them down. But yeah, I respond with my gut. I'm a very quick yes or no for the most part. I pretty much know what I want to do, and I mean it's spot on. So Tina Marie, if you want to know any more about a generator, we respond from the gut, and but there's different types, of generators, and then there's manifesting generators that are a little bit of both. I haven't heard any manifesting generators in this group particularly, but I find them to be quite interesting. But I'm also a rising Cancer and a Gemini moon, and I knew nothing about that, and then realized my emotions because I'm an Aquarius, and Aquarians aren't typically very emotional. But I am an Aquarius type personality. But the Cancer rising makes total sense because I mean, I could go deep, deep down the path of wherever we want to go, and I can get really emotional about it. So that was helpful too, if we're talking about signs.
Is it emotional or passionate?
Both. I tend as a child, I would cry like all the time. I couldn't really tell you why, but I was very sensitive. Um, and I think that there were other things along the childhood trauma path that probably presented itself, but I think I cared very deeply about things, and I don't think I understood where I fit in. Even now, I guess that could explain a little bit about my where I line up in the cosmos. But I mean, even till this day, finding you guys, it's like a breath of fresh air because I just never felt like I fit in anywhere. Like, I mean, I'm very intrigued of the quantum space. I'm very fascinated when I hear people talk about these connections. I feel like I already know them, and I don't know how I know them. I just intuitively feel it in my cells. So I just think I was a deep thinker at a young age, and I couldn't quite figure it out. And everything that people were talking about didn't matter, you know, like I didn't care about trivia. All that stuff was like I wondered, did I know that it didn't really matter or wasn't really real? And I was more interested in the aspect of the deeper self, but I don't know.
I definitely resonate very wholeheartedly with, what you just mentioned about like feeling like you didn't belong. And I'm actually working on a book right now
Oh,
of my writings from the last few years. I have a lot of writings, and a main theme is kind of like the struggle of, like diving into all these things and not really feeling like I have like any sense of connection with like other humans,
mm-hmm.
and but then I, like you said, like with spirit calling, it's like you meet people and it's like you just feel like you already know them somehow. And she's not on the call right now, but another member, we've been meeting in the main meeting room, just chatting uh pretty often. And we found out that we have like all these strange things in common and stuff like that. And then so we decided about like she was, it was cool. She was sending me pictures of like all this artwork that she's been doing lately. And I was sending her excerpts from the book, and it was like they were they were resonating, like they were like similar energies to it. It was strange, but then so we're thinking about combining, like having it a book be like with my writings and her drawing, like her artwork.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
I'm
so
excited.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. Like, that gives me like the chills, like how this all is like working out, you know? I mean, even when I went met Nicole and I met like 3 years ago, right, Nicole? Like randomly on Telegram. And I somehow got on her channel because she's been doing mass meditations for like 8 years now. And she was like, I thought she was like some high level person. I'm like, and then all of a sudden we got connected. I'm like, I'm connected to the mass meditation girl, you know? And it turns out then when I do my travels around the country, I stay at her place. She rescued me from the Moab desert when my truck dies. And like, she was my angel. She was my angel that saved me. And now we're like these, spirit friends across, the United States. And I mean, that would have never happened had we not had these cool like the technology, number one, but the ability to connect on a deeper level, on a spiritual level, I guess we can say. It's not like superficial or just like, a normal chat. These are deep. Something was built for this exact reason. So that brings me so much joy to hear that you've connected with someone to help, the next chapter of your writing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read it because it's probably going to describe me.
I just saw a visual while you were saying that of us building and connecting, and it was almost like diamond. We're connecting all the fractal pieces. It was actually a really cool visual. But I feel like that even we just come into the same space, the energy right now that we are creating and bridging and solidifying into physical earth is like making waves of energy for everybody to feel and to connect to and wake up with. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Definitely. Tina, I know you want to say something. I feel like it. Please share.
Oh no, I was just noticing it's Michael, right? That the sun is coming through behind, and I felt like it was like just sending the light of the sun, it just kind of
It's
permeating.
Alston.
Oh, that's
Alston.
Alston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alston. Okay, yeah, Alston. And bringing that in. I that is so
Yes,
cool.
I
Yeah.
feel that.
Mm.
I just love the fact that we want to sit here and have a conversation, like a real conversation of how we're doing. I mean, really caring about what it is that, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's just a beautiful thing to sit here and share an experience. And like, when you leave this place, you just leave it's almost like we press something, the frequency of the communication does something to our auras and our vibration. It's like a tuning in. Go ahead.
I
You
have a question.
Mhm.
So, how many, like, just by show of hands, I guess, would be like, how many of you are around people who are relatively close to you that are just not even in this, in the, yeah, there you go. Yeah. Like that are just like they can't even hear it, like they glaze over.
The
Totally.
daughters.
Yeah. My son, the same thing.
Yeah. Thankfully my husband is we're on like a parallel journey together.
That's
He
nice.
works for the Native American church and he does a lot of prayer and a
Nice.
lot of ceremonies and it's a beautiful experience. And then I'm more on like the quantum travel exploration, just deeper truth understanding. And I wanted to share my dream with you really quick too, if you guys don't mind. Um, how about everybody else though? Like how is everybody else feeling with their spouses and or family members before I take off on a dream experience? Jason, do you want to share anything with your family? I don't know if he can respond. Okay, Maddie, how about you?
Um, well, I am definitely very grateful to have this community because I would say 99.9% of the time I am in pure isolation.
Yeah.
So I mean occasionally I have chats with my neighbors, and then I have a lot of conversations with who knows what, but it's like spiritual stuff. But yeah, like as far as just other actual human beings, like in person, I just am not really, that's just not a part of my journey right now at this time. It's very rare, really, that I actually have like a face-to-face long conversation. Nothing deep, really, or anything, except for when I do, I find it interesting that whenever I am like in a situation, I feel like everybody I meet always kind of randomly ends up kind of like spilling their guts to me a little bit. And then they always say like, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, you know?
Every time I talk to you, man, we're right down the street. We got to hit like, Berry Caffeinated. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, I just went there. I just
Okay.
went there for
All
the
right, we're
first
going.
time
We
the other
literally
day.
live like a town away from each other.
Yeah, I literally,
So
the other day I literally walked there to Berry Caffeinated.
okay. All right. So
Mm.
we'll connect after this because we definitely have to have these deeper spiritual conversations. I'm always looking for them. So I have young kids and I'm running around like crazy sometimes, but that doesn't mean that I would love to connect it face to face.
We could always go to a park and run around with them,
That's true. There you go.
you know?
See?
Yeah.
Aw, thanks for thinking of me and my family. Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Do you know where Crow's Woods is?
I do. And I love Crowswoods. They have that
Yeah.
swing there too. They have the swing in the
Oh
middle of the
yeah.
woods. The kids love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Look at that. See? Now you can meet friends right down the street. We're
Yeah.
here at Spirit Calling. You never know who could be your neighbor, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me share this really cool dream. So first of all, Tina, I was thinking about you too, which is funny because I know you're like, write it down, and I didn't write it down. I'm being a bad girl. But what happened was it's like I had the dream, but in my dream I remember seeing that this would happen and then it happened. I don't know if you've ever had a dream where you like had a premonition of the dream in the
Yeah.
dream.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, I felt like I knew something was happening, but then it like actually felt like it was really happening. And so we were in some kind of desert-like place, maybe like Colorado in a way, because then there was like the suburb. but then there was like the desert. And I remember feeling like we were going to see something happen. And so sure enough, this big saucer spacecraft lands in the desert, like all lit up. And I'm like, wow. And then all
Mhm.
of a sudden there was one above us. And I was with a friend and I just grabbed her and we laid down on the ground. And the bottom of the saucer or the UFO or whatever it is opened up and it dropped almost like sand. It appeared to be sand, but it was sound. And it was like, boom, and it hit us. And then that was it. And I
Wow.
just felt like we were actually witnessing what is really there. Like it wasn't like harmful. It was just like we witnessed what 5D was. Like this is happening. So I wanted to share that because I didn't know really what that meant, other than that, that's what I felt like is going to be, we're going to open those senses now to be able to see these things soon. I
Yeah,
don't
intuitively, that was the hit I got. As soon as you said it with such clarity that I could see what you were thinking,
know.
and I saw that you were there. And I'm
Wow.
going to put, air quotes, there. You were in that frequency, and yeah, that really to me is it's multi-layered, but there was it's so much easier at night in the dreams to be open
Mhm.
to that kind of experience than being awake and actually having it first. So in some ways, it's almost like preparatory, right?
Yeah.
It's preparing you energetically because when
Mhm.
you can't when you have nothing to go by, like when there's nothing in your reality that you've ever experienced similar to that, then it's very challenging when it shows up in a physical way. So I
Mhm.
feel like you were, but in the dream time, you're completely open. You're
Yeah.
completely, yeah,
Yes.
it's like, yay, we're
Yay,
here.
it actually happened. I'm seeing it. Yay. It was. It's like finally I can see something.
Exactly. When I visited various places like Egypt, for example, when I was there in the King's Chamber, I was there a couple of times, but I could see and experience that there was a ship hovering above the Great Pyramid. And in my experience, I haven't had the just like standing right there, I'm going into the ship kind of thing. My consciousness goes. And
Mm.
so I go energetically in my consciousness and I get to see it. And I've seen the same thing on top of Mount Shasta and have been able to I get the 5 cent tour though, people. Like I don't get to go in and go around and see everything. I get the 5 cent tour. It's like, yeah, you're here. We're helping you out. We're doing stuff for you. And then, it's like, okay, you're done.
That's so cool though.
But I always feel like that's part of the preparation, if you will, for what we know to be true, and yet we have no, I mean, not I can't say nobody, but this week's most of us just don't have that direct experience quite yet, other than how I said, although I mean, there are others who've had completely different experiences. So
I just think I feel like we're getting close. I feel like there is something like that. I mean, I know we've shifted so much already. And
yeah,
part of me knows like we know nothing. Like I feel like what this reality we think it is, we really just don't have a clue. We've been kind of blocked in a bubble, but that bubble is dissipating. And I'm excited. I'm excited. I think that this is a really unique time to be here. Like look at us. Like I said, going back to like the fact that these conversations weren't happening, you know, 20 years ago. And so the fact that we can be here and explore and talk about, possibility, that just lights me up. It really does. So thank you for letting me share my dream too, because
yeah,
I always want to hear from
your
the
dream
specialists.
experience slash
Yeah.
experience, right?
It was so fun though. I really was like impacted by that dream too. Um,
Mm.
so and now I was thinking about it, Nicole. I didn't think it would might be Colorado, but it did feel kind of like that because it felt like we were at a house and then all of a sudden there it was. We were in like the desert. And she lives like, basically in between of both. So it was really fascinating. I know we're wrapping up time soon, and I really would love for some of you that do are going to be doing things with Spirit Calling to share a little bit about what that is. So Tina Marie, I want you to share, if you don't mind,
No.
about the project you're going to be working on, and then Nicole and anybody else who has something going on, or even in their lives that they really want us to know. Like, I love the fact, Maddie, you got to clue us in when the book's, going underway. Like, I want to support you however we can. So please share. Go ahead. We'll start off with you, Tina Marie.
Let's see. Dina and I are going to co-host a new group called Cosmic Citizens. It's conversations for the new human. And we're going to do some channeling. Dina is channeling. She's coming into that where she's channels and writes it down. I do channeling. I can do it live or I can do it beforehand. It doesn't matter. And we'll go based on who will be in attendance, meaning not up to us as the hosts, but we'll go with the themes that arise for us, and we'll have some fun conversations, I believe.
That
And
sounds
that is going to be, the first one is going to be April 10th, and it'll be every second Thursday of the month.
awesome. Putting that on the calendar.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
that
you very
sounds
much.
great. Yeah, I started really going down the rabbit hole with Gaia with channelers. I know Michael and I probably and Nicole probably have done that, and it's nice to actually be connected with people that we now know, and I feel like it's getting us closer, right? It's getting us closer to that like telepathic deep connection. I'm ready. I'm ready to not talk at
That
all.
we all have. Yeah, we all
So
have
just
that.
read my mind, okay?
No,
Careful
yeah,
with the
actually, I don't think
rituals.
you want people to read your mind. I
No,
think you
that's
want to
true.
communicate telepathically.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a different
that's a
kind of
different way.
communication. Yeah.
We know we're ready for that though.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've said sometimes I'm like, I know I want to say what I'm saying, but it's not coming out right because it's like a different level.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's gotten to the point where some people can just barely start the conversation and I can predict it. I already know. I already know the answer, where we're going, everything. So it's coming online more.
Yeah. That is
Nicole,
so
why don't you
cool.
share anything that you've got going on? I think you've been posting some stuff as well.
Yes. So actually, next Wednesday is our Awakeners Hour. So I'm doing that one. So it's going to be about me, how I've been creating the sound healing tracks and healing through sound, essentially, in a way. So that will be next Wednesday. And
What time is that? At
this,
3?
I think so. Yeah.
All
I
right.
think that's what it is. And the end of April, when I usually have the last Thursday of the month meditation, that date is going to change because I'll be out of town, but we will still have our mass meditation at the end of the month, but the date is to be determined.
Okay.
I also want to remind everybody that all of the sound healings from literally the past 2 years are in the sound healing tab. So if you are interested in pretty much now, most frequencies are on there correlating to chakras, whatever it is. So feel free to go in there and check out the library. It might be exactly what you need at this time. And also I have my chakra course that's in the courses as well. That's been on there for a little bit. But yeah, I've got those things going on there. So I'm excited to be able to share on Spirit Calling. It's like my favorite platform to share because it's one of the only platforms I actually get feedback, not just like a like or a love. It's like you get some tangible information and like real life testimony. And that's what this is
Yeah.
all about. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Love that.
Well, that's one reason why 5D all day happened. I mean, it really was a conversation on Telegram about people who wanted to talk about New Earth, awakening, high vibes, and just letting it flow so we can get there. How do we build a community? How do we support one another? And look at what's happening. And we get to connect. And I think a lot of us might eventually meet each other in the physical, which I think is a beautiful place, right? I feel like we're the lights that we're meant to find one another. That's something that I feel very deeply, the calling that I came as a second wave. As soon as I heard that through Dolores Cannon as a volunteer, and I was called, I knew I was called because I was very happy where I was. But I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to have this podcast with you guys to share just how we're feeling. And again, it brings me such joy. It's one of my favorite things, and I want to thank you. And next month too, I'm also going to be away.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so thank you. So I think we might be doing it, Pamela, if you're still listening, I think we might be doing it on a Thursday on like the 17th. Hopefully it doesn't collide or with anybody else. If not, we'll figure it out. But I hate to miss a 5D. We have to do one once a month at least. So we can check in and get those barometers, our barometer internal compass set for the rest of the weekend. But yes, if you're interested, if you're someone who's watching this and you want to have like-minded conversations, please check out spirit-calling.com. There's a 7-day free trial, and you will not be disappointed. You get to see all these amazing people. You get to learn a ton. You get like one direction to like find what you might be seeking, rather than going all over the place. So it's what Pamela's created has been so wonderful, and we're thankful to you. I'm thankful to her very much for having this space to share with you all. So if anyone else has anything else to say, we'll say goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Have a lovely day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.